From Sam Heughan feeling very uncomfortable with the nudity in Season 1 to the show's intimacy coordinator doing wonders for the actors in Season 6, here's what Sam Heughan had to say about filming intimate scenes on Outlander. Let's face it, Outlander has never shied away from showing the most passionate scenes on screen, and while the audience has always enjoyed it, Sam isn't into it at all. I mean, come on, the dude's been going nude in front of the camera for 6 seasons now, and with a 7th season on the way, I'm sure there's a lot more of that sizzling romance coming your way. But in an interview with Insider, Heughan was refreshingly honest, and he confessed that filming those intimate moments is never as fun as it seems. In fact, he finds them uncomfortable to get through every single time. But the man had to play along. As he talked about the behind-the-scenes dynamics, he said viewers were expecting a lot from the show right from the start. I mean, think about the readers of Diana Gabaldon's books, on which the show is based. They're very used to the intimacy between Jamie and Claire Fraser, and if the show wanted to stay true to the source material, they had to film these scenes as realistically as possible. But according to Heughan, Season 1 was the hardest to get through. They were trying to figure out how things worked, but the story was a bit too intense for Sam. Claire, who is portrayed by Caitriona Balfe, eventually becomes Jamie's wife, and trust me, these two go through a lot together. But when she gets in trouble, Jamie submits to Randall's twisted demands, enduring the most unimaginable torture at his hands. Eventually, Claire comes to his rescue, but the actor had a very hard time getting through Jamie's torture scenes. There was crazy attention to detail, and it left everyone surprised. While his character is kept locked up by Randall, he's been assaulted in some very disturbing ways. Picture this. Jamie is made to lay down on a table, and while all of his limbs are cuffed, Randall does whatever he wishes with him. When Jamie makes it out of Randall's torture cell, a part of him is broken forever. But the filming caught onto every single detail of the torture, and Heughan found himself awfully disturbed by the events. But as if that wasn't enough, he had to go completely naked while his character was being assaulted, and boy, was Heughan mad about it. In his memoir, Waypoints: My Scottish Journey, he recalls how the shoot called for a full frontal shot of his character after the assault. Sure, the actor had agreed to include nudity in his contract, but he didn't like the idea of going naked for this particular scene. A heated debate began behind the scenes because showrunner Ron D. Moore felt that the scene was crucial to the story. He wanted to capture the raw horror of the torture, and guess what? He captured the scene without Heughan's consent, and the actor felt completely betrayed by his team. After he got through the grueling torture scene, the team wanted one final wide shot of the entire event. The producers assured him that they would cut the scene before the traumatic events, but the director didn't tell the team to cut at the right time, forcing the actors to continue performing until the very end of the torture. Sam's personal boundaries were shamelessly violated, and it took a toll on him. He had a heart-to-heart with the production team, and eventually, they agreed that Heughan didn't have to be fully naked after the assault. But aside from this, there are a lot of intimate scenes between Jamie and Claire, and as Heughan and Balfe opened up about getting it on set, they both acknowledged that it can get very awkward. When they first started working together, getting that close to each other, all while they were entirely naked, wasn't the most natural thing for them. Balfe talked in an interview with Entertainment Weekly and explained that practically speaking, filming these scenes is far from the fantasy you see on TV. Picture this. Lots of people in the room, and all of them looking at you closely while you try to get in the mood. It's not exactly the most private thing, which is how it deceivingly appears on screen. Unless you're into having an audience while you're trying to get intimate, Balfe admitted that the filming isn't fun, and she often walks away from those scenes with a few battle scars. Back in 2014, both Heughan and Balfe openly confessed that the thought of filming intimate scenes made their nerves go haywire. But to a large extent, their real-life friendship came to the rescue. Balfe explained that since they're good friends, they can both trust each other and know that they're in safe hands. In fact, being the sneaky partners in crime, they sometimes take a shot of whiskey to calm those jitters. Trust me, that stuff helps. But even years later in 2022, Caitriona admitted that filming intimate scenes is never fun. For her, it gets too repetitive, as she's talked about now at this point. Everyone knows that the couple in the show has a healthy, intimate life. Even with Heughan being a supportive partner throughout, she just couldn't enjoy herself. But that's not all. The actors opened up about how all of their intimate scenes are pre-planned. Heughan spilled the details to People magazine, revealing that he and Balfe work closely with the director and writer so that they can make sure everything goes according to plan. They're like dance partners, practicing their moves until they're in perfect sync. For that unforgettable wedding night sex scene during Season 1, showrunner Matthew B. Roberts talked about how they treated it like any other scene, but with extra care. Balfe and Heughan were involved in every step of the planning process, and their moves were entirely choreographed. In fact, they rehearsed plenty of times, and the lighting in the room was tested as well. From the costumes to the environment in the room, they focused on every little aspect to make the scene perfect. Their highest priority was making sure Balfe and Heughan felt comfortable and free to express themselves in front of the crew. Of course, the system still has its flaws, as you saw in Heughan's terrifying torture scene experience. But don't worry, the actor is turning things around. And considering how he's also an executive producer on the show now, he did something incredible. Heughan got an intimacy coordinator on board for Season 6, and the couples literally breezed through their scenes this time. I mean, he's always challenged the norm, and bringing Vanessa Coffey into the team was another way to do it. He explained how these advisors are a common practice in the industry now, and hiring one for the team has been massively helpful. In 2014, both Heughan and Balfe were like fresh-faced rookies, diving headfirst into the world of passionate scenes without a clue about what they were doing. For 5 whole seasons, they worked with the producers to make things work, but Coffey was the emotional support they truly needed. She was the show's intimacy coordinator in its 6th season, and Heughan couldn't stop gushing about her invaluable contribution. She helped with the steamy scenes that could feel very difficult to get through, and also delved deep into the essence of Jamie and Claire's relationship, making their connection look more real than ever. For Jamie and Claire, physical intimacy binds them together, and it's a way for them to stay connected in the middle of all the trials they face. Heughan wants the fans to feel like they're right there, sharing in the magic of Jamie and Claire's connection, and with Coffey's expertise and guidance, they hit all the right notes. If you noticed, they cut down on the intimate scenes in Season 6, but as Heughan implied, less is more. Plus, he's not the only one who feels that way, as Coffey explained what her job entails in detail. Nope, she wasn't there to reduce the number of intimate scenes. I mean, Season 6 jumped right into action with a steamy scene in the premiere, but for Coffey, every intimate moment has to serve a purpose for the storyline. She makes the set a safe place for the actors involved, as she's got some closed set protocols that she always follows. They're sent in advance to the production team, outlining who should be present on a closed set whenever an intimate scene is shot. What's more, all the monitors are blocked off, so that no one sneaks a peek from elsewhere on the set. And the sound feed is cut too. Sure, there are still a lot of people present during filming the scenes, like the director, the script supervisor, and the people on costumes, but Coffey works to give the actors maximum privacy. In an interview, she mentioned that working with both Heughan and Balfe was a breeze because the two already have a lot of trust between each other. She confirmed that she didn't have to put in any work when it came to their chemistry on screen, which is a big compliment. So there you have it, folks. From the show's intimacy coordinator making intimate scenes easier for the actors, to him feeling extremely uncomfortable during his disturbing Season 1 nudity, this was everything Sam Heughan had to say about filming intimate scenes.